It's time to jump into the luxury imports of Bowling Green, BMW, Mercedes, Sports Webb, with your host Brian Webb on ESPN Radio 102.7. Starring Vegas Frank with Against the Odds, brought to you by JBK Network Consulting. Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill presents WKU Lady Toppers golf coach and PGA teaching professional Adam Gary in Gary on the Green. The Good Fit with Jeremy Harris. Sports Web baseball analyst Danny Hartung from First Step Orthotics. WKU Sports Analysis with Garret Browning, featuring the Culver's Player of the Week for high school athletics. All phone interviews via the Line-X of Bowling Green hotline. And now from ESPN Radio 102.7, here's your host, Brian Webb.
Hello, sports fans. I hope you're doing fine, but Vrabel is becoming unstable. We got Titans troubles, folks. I went out in the parking lot with G-Man. He hit 4 35-yard field goals in a row, so I don't know. Got Cody Parkey today, though, Garrett.
I did have to stretch out my hamstring pretty vigorously beforehand, but yes, you are right. I nailed him. Thank you, Cairo Santo.
35-yarders?
No, we're just kidding. He's
He's
got a leg.
I played high school soccer, so I at least got some power.
You got
He was
skill.
on the team.
You got skills. You got skills, man.
I don't know about the accuracy part.
All right.
The
No, who needs
Danny Hartung. That's him. You hear that
How you doing,
raspy.
What's going on,
What's up, man?
boys? Good, man. How are you?
I got to play you next week in fantasy.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
I hope your wife doesn't hold against me that I took her to the cleaners this weekend.
She asked me about some of my old Vegas counterparts that she wanted a phone number for. I hope that wasn't anything bad. I hope you're here next Tuesday.
Yeah, I'll be here.
We got a great show. I got Hunter Scott, Glasgow Scotty Dog, who 4 touchdowns the other night, Garrett.
Wow. Man.
Sounds like
awesome.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, he is kind of like a little McCaffrey.
Glasgow and South Warren, that had to be the game of the season so far, didn't it?
It was something else. And then, turn around and the Purples come in, rested, and the backup, that's probably the, toughest thing he's ever faced is facing the Purples like that, a second week.
Well, and the thing with South Warren, too, is Coach Smith his offense, they're built around nothing conservative, I believe. They have aggressive decisions from the quarterback play. And that puts a lot of pressure on a new quarterback in there. And I think Willingham, when you watch
he's not bad.
No, when I've seen some of the videos, he makes some really good throws.
Awful.
Yeah, he hasn't played a lot, so he makes
not a lot of reps.
some bad decisions from time to time. But
and then they did a fake punt, Lim, 4th and 11 in Bowling Green territory. So I wasn't sure about how that would play out. It didn't play out well. And then Bunton knocks in 2 to make it 14-3, and they just couldn't overcome it. When you're playing a team and you give them a short field like that, it's just a matter of time.
I mean, come on. Any guys that half a defensive mind would catch a fake punt after the time. But
I don't think Smith made that call. I think that was one of his assistants that did that. We don't know for sure. It was a great game to watch, though. I mean, two really good teams. We got 2 really good teams battling it out in the Major League Baseball. And the Rays, they got a little bit of a shot, right?
Baby shot tonight. But they got Verlander going on 3 days rest. And, it's hard to say he could be lights out or, they could start hitting the ball. I'd love to see Kiermaier take one deep early and knock him out of the game. But, this Houston's pitching staff's so good. They are so good. And they got a new guy on the mound for the Rays tonight, Diego Castillo. I want to kind of see what this guy's looking like. So.
Yeah, he hasn't necessarily been an opener at all this season for the Rays. He's been more of a setup man. They wanted him to be a closer early season. Never really worked out because it was just never there. He was off the IL and coming into the bullpen, so they kind of kept him at that setup man role. But he's finally kind of stepped it up the last couple of weeks.
I've looked at his stuff, and he's got a decent slider, and he's got a pretty decent fastball, and he's got it's kind of a riser. So he's going to be up high in the zone. That could cost him with someone like Bregman or something, but you get a lot of guys that chase pitches up high anymore, and that's where pitchers are starting to go anymore. They're a little up high in the zone because it's hard to get around on a hard fastball up high in the zone anymore. But
Castillo, his one problem would probably be control, but he's got great velocity on his fastball. and he's got great break on his slider. So if he can just land a couple of early strikes against some of these batters, because he's only going to be in there 2 innings.
Yeah,
max.
exactly. If he gets ahead at every count, that'd be a very, very good way to start that game. I don't know who will come in after that for them, but I'm not, Yarborough or
Yeah, I would guess Yarborough just because he could go a longer distance.
I like him.
Oh, I love Yarborough
I like
too.
that guy, man. He's he can pitch, man.
Well, what's funny today is I feel like there aren't a lot of guys that are, they flexible between becoming a starter and becoming a true bullpen guy.
Yeah, this guy just likes to pitch.
Oh, absolutely.
He doesn't care
He
where
could come in, get you 2 outs with 15 pitches,
Yeah.
or he's going to go get you 9 outs and 50 pitches. It's really just whichever
he
you
can
prefer.
go 4 or 5 innings too. That's the thing about it. But I'd like to see go 5. I really would. We got a lot of game 5s coming up. Atlanta, St. Louis. St. Louis just that dang Yadier Molina just never goes away. Does he?
The Cardinals.
Go away.
The Cardinals never go away. Doesn't matter who it is. Matt Carpenter, Yachty. It's always the same guys, too.
It's always Yachty, too. But that guy's been around forever. Just
Go away.
We need you doing some voice tracking, man. You can make millions of it.
But no, I'm pretty certain that I'm looking at a Houston on the American side, but dang, Yankees are just pounding the ball. I didn't think they'd get 15 runs ahead of the Twins for that series. It's only one shy of the record, but they're just knocking the ball around. I just don't trust their pitching, to tell you the truth. I think Houston would outduel them in pitching at all times.
Well, when you get into a mash game,
Yeah.
which that's what the Yankees are, and then you see that I almost said Tigers lineup because I was thinking of Verlander. Astros lineup with Verlander. 1 game, 2 games where you're not hitting the ball, that's going to kill you.
Yeah, you get up against Verlander, Cole, and heck, Peacock even. If you don't hit these guys, you're done. Lucky they're 7 games this next time around. But
well, that's the only reason the Rays forced another game is because they actually jumped out on top of one of those guys, Greinke, last night.
Exactly, and you got Greinke too, and he's like their 4-man.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
You were right about the Twinkies, though.
Yeah.
They just didn't have enough.
They don't have the arms, man. It's just, they were lucky to get in where they were. Not lucky. They hit a lot of home runs, but you still have to pitch. I don't care what anyone says. It's fundamental baseball.
My favorite comparison for the Twins is you go to the NFL. They're like the 13-win Cardinals with Alex Smith, or 13-win Chiefs with with Alex Smith, or the 13-win Titans with Kerry Collins. You just know.
Remember that year.
Or the 12-win Mitchell Trubisky team.
That's true.
You just know.
Crap the bed around right before playoffs. I'm surprised, though, that Dodgers and Nationals are tied up. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, the guy Bueller's pitching tomorrow. He and Ryu's kind of backed off in the last month of the season, but Bueller's been solid all year long. I'm sorry, no, that sounds better.
Then you get scared of Kershaw.
Yeah, no, you know what? They're not scared of Kershaw anymore. That's
the Dodgers are scared of what Kershaw's going to do.
Yeah, of pitching him, but the guy produces, but he's just never been a shutdown guy, especially in the late season. But you can't Walker Buehler. They got Rich Hill going tomorrow, so it's going to be a tough one. It's kind of like their chances of tying this. Or I like if they throw Mad Max tomorrow, which they're talking about doing. That could be an ugly, ugly, crazy game. But
and we've talked about it a lot on this show is Juan Soto, just what he's meant for that team, replacing Bryce Harper. I heard a stat the other night, credit Boog Shambi on ESPN Radio. You can actually listen tonight I think we're joining the Rays in progress.
Right after the top of the hour.
Oh, are you?
First pitch.
Oh,
yeah.
cool. All
But
right.
Boog Shambi was talking about Juan Soto. There were 7 guys that have been younger than 20 years old and finished with a 400 on-base percentage.
Man.
And I only remember a couple of names, but the couple of names, Alex Rodriguez, Ted Williams.
Oh, my.
It just, the list went on and on. It was ridiculous. And that's what they replaced Bryce Harper with.
That's pretty good company there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? The thing is they're laughing at Bryce Harper now. But, it should be interesting next couple of days.
I'm looking forward to it. We got a great show tonight. Vegas Frank's going to be joining us shortly. We might even get a real-life Redskins fan in the studio in a minute.
A dead skin?
If Will's not too busy, he's over there doing WOVO 106.3. But if he's not too busy, I'd like to get it from a fan's perspective, with the firing of Jay Gruden. We'll talk a little NFL. We'll talk some Hilltoppers taking on the Black Knights of the Army, who have a decent season going, run that triple op. I think our defense is going to be able to put a dent in that. But we'll see what's going on. We'll get Garrett's thoughts on that game and much, much more. You're listening to the Sports Web, ESPN Radio 102.7, and in Glasgow, the new 104 The Score.
Culver's wouldn't be what it is today without the family farms that grow and produce the wholesome, delicious food we so proudly serve. From the cattle ranches of the Great Plains to the dairy farms of Wisconsin and south to Georgia's chicken country, it's important to us to make sure farm families across the nation clearly see how Culver's remains committed to sourcing the finest ingredients America's growers have to offer and how thankful we are for their hard work and dedication. Culver's, Scottsville Road in front of Greenwood High. Welcome to Delicious.
The U.S. Army is offering up to $65,000 in student loan reimbursement as a new enlistment incentive. The program is available for nearly 50 different occupations, covering both full-time and part-time careers in the U.S. Army and Army Reserve. The total amount of loan reimbursement varies depending on the length of the individual's enlistment contract. For more information, talk to your local Army recruiter or check us out online at www.goarmy.com.
2020 sounds good at Luxury Imports of Bowling Green. Whether it's a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW, hear the engine on a test drive and you'll pick up a roaring 20 for yourself. Or maybe one of the last 18s and 19s with special deals and financing to close out the year. Everyone has a dream car, now bring it home. If Luxury Imports doesn't have your new or pre-owned BMW or Mercedes on the lot, management will find it and bring it. Fee-free to BG. Luxury Imports of Bowling Green, 325 Three Springs Road, online at luxuryimportsofbowlinggreen.com.
Hi, this is Danny Hartung with First Step Prosthetics. Jeremy Harris and I would like to thank the people of Bowling Green and the surrounding areas for their support of the last 10 years. We are proud to announce that we have been celebrating over a decade of service to this community. We are going strong with the utmost care for our orthotic and prosthetic patients. We strive to provide the new and latest technology for the care of our patients and whatever their specific needs should be. Take the next step with us. Next Batteries Plus on the bypass, or visit us at firststepprosthetics.com.
Buddy. And thanks for coming on back to the Sports Web. Garrett and I are doing some techno dancing. I'm not sure if that qualifies as techno, but
I can never delete these West Raider returns.
No, never.
They're just
don't
legend.
Ever do it. Don't ever do it.
Some of them are a little goofy, but they're just too legendary. I've been hearing them for 7 years now. I can't get away from them.
You need some glow sticks with them, though, and turn the lights
Oh,
down.
man.
Dim the lights
It's a
up.
party.
Man, I went over to get Will and see if he wanted to chat about some Redskins. He's like, I'm in a contest right now. That's a good answer. I mean,
You put him on the spot.
Yeah, put him on the spot. And he's not making eye contact.
Yesterday during Sportsline, the first inning of the Dodgers Nationals game, they gave up a home run to Justin Turner, and it was great. I was just watching him through the window. It's great. It's like you're at the zoo when you're here at the studio because
exactly
you can watch people through the glass in
like
their
a prism,
studios.
like 3 windows.
So I was watching him through the glass, watch the Nationals give up a home run. Very entertaining stuff, I got to say. Very entertaining stuff.
What well, not a rough year for baseball for them, but rough year for football.
Oh, my gosh.
It was time for Jay to get, but I tell you who they need to fire is Daniel Snyder.
Yeah, my favorite part was him going on the podium and talking about what a great culture there is in Washington. The Redskins.
Wait, here he is. He's headed to the back. Will the Thrill, 106.3, Will David. First of all, Garrett was giving us a great insight that yesterday he was listening to the game on the internet here, watching it, and watching you watch the game on your computer.
Things got going pretty quick in that game. You can...
Yeah, I was telling him
reactions coming through this window here. You can see a whole wide array of things. I'm telling you.
After that first inning home run, it was just head down, kind of shaking a little bit. Yep. I gave him the hands up, just like, "What are you going to do, man?"
I've been there. I've lived the life, the DC sports life, for several years now. I know how these usually go. But last night, I mean, they made me proud. They really did.
Reverting to the Redskins, I mean, you've seen a couple good seasons. I mean, right?
I was born in '93. Last time they made any noise in the playoffs was '92.
That's
92.
Hilarious.
So I don't know if I'm the curse or not, but something's got to.
I don't think it's you, buddy.
Lim, we're asking young Will David here about his endearment of the Redskins this season, and is this the worst you've ever seen it, Will?
In all my life, yeah, it is. I mean, it's a culture in that team. It's got to change. Someone's got to clean house.
Oh, but Dan Snyder, he was saying the culture was good. They got a great
culture. So much deeper than Jay Gruden. So much deeper.
Oh, yeah. It's just the tip of the iceberg.
Everyone else sees it except upper management. Bruce Allen, man.
Before you keep Mr. Bill Callahan as just an interim coach at the rest of the year, have them call the University of Nebraska and see what he did to that program. And that was about almost 20 years ago, and they haven't rebounded since.
Oh, not a good outlook.
Yeah. I see it coming a mile away.
Well, and how
we'll
weird.
Be lucky to pick up a couple games this season. We'll see if we can get a couple wins here. Got the Dolphins next week.
Yeah, you got the Dolphins coming up.
We'll see.
Surely.
There's going to be a couple of jerseys burned if they don't pull that one out. I can assure you.
Who's going to be the quarterback next week? That's what I'm wondering. Will it be McCoy?
They're going to ruin Dwayne Haskins again. I'm seeing
another RG3.
Oh, I'm hoping not. Hopefully someone's going to get smart.
Well, I think they already said McCoy's going to start on that.
Well, and then the problem with Haskins is I always get confused between Snyder and Allen, which one's owner, which one's GM. The owner is the one that's big time. I want Dwayne Haskins. Everybody around him was kind of like, nah, don't take Dwayne Haskins, man. Go get Daniel Jones. They get Dwayne Haskins anyways. So now you're stuck with a guy that you don't know if he's your quarterback. Your owner thinks he's your quarterback, but basically nobody else in the organization thinks he's your quarterback. So what are you going to do for the rest? Do you even play him? I mean, you have to play him, right?
Yes.
If you can trust him behind that offensive line.
If you run out of quarterbacks, you're going to have to play him.
You have no choice.
But that's just...
Say hey to Mark Sanchez again before the year's out.
Butt fumble. That's all you need is another butt. Well, he was... He was an Eagle when that happened.
Man, thanks to Will. I know that's tough for him talking about the Redskins like that.
Good-spirited young fella.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Eventually, I'll be like that with the Titans. It could be next year.
Possible.
Could be a couple of weeks.
Could be a couple hours. I mean,
we'll find out soon.
Man, I tell you, that's tough. I did not see them being fourth in that division.
Hey, but this is how it works for the Tennessee Titans. Fourth in their division, only a game out. Definitely still in the mix.
No. Don't count them. Don't knock them. Don't count them down. I mean, they're not down. Another team you don't want to count down is the Hilltoppers. We said they'd be 3-0 in the Conference USA, and they are. But taking on a pretty good opponent. But Tulane just handled Army pretty good, though. So, I mean, I feel like we're going to win this one. I don't know about 4-point favorites, though. That freaked me out a little bit.
Brian, did you have to pinch yourself when you saw the final score was 21-3, Western Kentucky? How weird is that?
That's pretty sweet. I called them 4-point winners, but not that big of a deficit. But it's because of D'Angelo Malone, man. I mean, that guy's a freak.
The defense is just absolutely insane. I mean, they're all over the place. Quick at the back end secondary. They've got ferocious guys on the front seven. D'Angelo Malone gets a ton of that love.
He's so good.
Jawan Jones, another guy on the defensive line that needs love. And just give credit to these linebackers and defensive secondary, because after week 1, 400 yards to Central Arkansas, 4 passing touchdowns.
If they hold Army to 3, I want to ask Clayton White to marry me.
I'm going deeper than that, man. I'll go further in.
All right, we got a few minutes left, Lim. Let's talk a little bit of NFL. Well, what are some great matchups this week, Garrett? I mean, who we looking at? We got Titans are playing.
This is how terrible a predictor I am. I gave you 2 line predictions last night. I said Browns +4.
Ouch.
And the second one, I said the Ravens -11. I think they're playing the Bengals.
Man, I tell you, they do not look right. What happened to them?
I just think the Brownies were due for their big game, big performance game, and I think the Ravens are going to have a bounce-back week. I got too much faith in their talent.
Everyone freaked out of the first 2 weeks of Lamar Jackson. Now he's coming back to be Lamar Jackson. You know,
that is true.
I didn't drink the Kool-Aid then. I'm not drinking it now because he's got such good receiving core, and their defense isn't that good though. They're
not the Ravens defense that we normally know.
To me, the matchups this week are pitiful. I think it's a terrible slate. Browns, Seahawks, Texans, Chiefs might be okay. That might be a lot of points put on the board there, but Mahomes is
fun
dinged
to watch.
up.
He's a little dinged up. The Chiefs are dinged up.
Yeah.
Did you have Will Fuller V on your bench?
I did not, but
I did.
I tried to veto I'll tell you guys this later. It was just the most terrible trade I've ever seen in my league, and I went crazy. I just so angry with some of these guys that are there, but we got Saints, Jags.
We got Niners, Rams at the Rams. That could be kind of interesting.
Rams. Tell you what, don't sleep on these 49ers. These guys got a defense.
I'll tell you what, they're for real.
That Bosa is a
and they've got such a good running back by committee situation up there.
Yeah.
They got 3. They got 4 guys.
Well, Breida just tearing it up.
He looks great.
And Goff's looking okay. He's coming around a little
Coleman,
bit.
though, he looks fresh and healthy, man. You saw what he did last night.
Tev's hurt. He was hurt for a while, and now he's back. But, we got a couple of stinkers, Falcons, Cardinals. Falcons... they put a lot of points up, but they just don't win.
They do not. It's a weird thing.
It is weird.
It is so weird. I mean, they got all the pieces to the puzzle. And
Cowboys
for
Jets.
some reason. All right, let's don't talk about the Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys?
Let's pass on my boys.
Hey, you play the Jets, though. I mean, surely we can talk about them then.
Well, we got Sam Darnold back this week, though, baby.
Yeah, no more mono-y-mono.
No more mononucleus.
They said he was healthy enough to play Sunday.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
said, but that was for the other players.
It
wasn't his. It wasn't him.
It was, that makes sense. That's why I'm not a doctor, although I did go to college for 7.5 years.
I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Yeah, that Rams 49ers might be a pretty decent game.
I tell you, the Browns aren't going to. You alluded to the Browns bouncing back, Garrett. It's not going to be against the Seahawks.
No.
I don't know. See, this is just such a weird team to keep up with. I feel like they play with just such emotion some weeks that, they're going to have a bad performance like they did Monday night. And then all of a sudden they're going to come back Sunday. And remember, just 2 weeks ago, they beat the crap out of the Ravens at Baltimore.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's one of those teams you're going to see a lot of good weeks, a lot of bad weeks.
Yeah,
so
possible.
I think they could have a good week this week.
A lot of Jekyll and Hyde teams this year, man.
But the game of the week, though, the Deadskins and the Dolphins, and Dolphins are going to be. They're going to
get a win
for Tua, baby.
Who's the favorite?
Yeah, I'd like to see the line. The Vegas just threw that one out.
Washington's 3.5.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
They're actually trying. Though.
I'd be all over the Dolphins on that.
I'd be trying to bet the loser in that game instead of betting the winner.
Who scores the least points in that one? Man, we're having a lot of fun. Always having fun. Lim, always great to have you.
Brother, I have a good time every time I'm here, man.
We need to get on the golf course, buddy.
It's getting cooler now.
Yeah, we need to go, man. I need another shot at you. You put it on me last time. I need another shot at the Lim. Hey, folks, don't go anywhere because we got Hunter Scott coming, Glasgow Scotty. We got Vegas Frank, and we'll catch up with Adam Gary on the green. He's out at the KHSAA state tournament put on by Leachman out there, so that's good stuff. But go out there and check it out. Our sponsor, Luxury Imports of Bowling Green, doing great things. Got the 2020s rolling. And some great pre-owned quality vehicles over there, Danny. Go get you a new Benz, man. You look good in a convertible Benz.
Yeah, except my head hits the top of them. But
get it for Sammy.
yeah, right.
All right, real quick on our last 20 seconds here, let's get some Hilltopper picks. I'm going to go with the WKU Hilltoppers taking it to the Army Black Knights. But I see a 23-21 victory for the Tops. Not going to cover the spread.
I'm keeping my picking against the Tops because every time I pick against the Tops, they win.
Do it.
So it works. I'm going Army by a low-scoring game, real low-scoring, 17-14.
Wow.
Tops,
I like that.
Tops by 1.
Tops by 1. That's where I'm at, Danny. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Sports Web. Luxury Imports of Bowling Green Sports Web, ESPN Radio 102.7, and in Glasgow on 104.
Go Rays, we're out!
The Score.
Discover North Point Apartment Homes. Tour their 1, 2, and 3-bedroom apartments with a
Hello, Vegas. Give me $100 on red.
$200 in chips, please.
Are you a professional?
What's your bet, sir?
Bet.
Hit me.
It's a bust.
Whoa! I am on fire.
Oh, he's good. He's good.
You're a winner!
Against the Odds with Vegas Frank is brought to you by JBK Network Consulting. JBK Network Consulting. We are IP everything. Working with complex organizations to achieve measurable business outcomes is what we do. Let Jim Grant and JBK Network Consulting go to work for you. Call 270-796-8935. Visit JBK Network Consulting at 1143 Fairway Place, Suite 105, and online at jbk.net.
Welcome back to the Sports Web on the Line-X hotline. Line-X Bedliners, Roger Gina, Louisville Road, Porter Pike. Get over there, get that bed taken care of in that truck. And you won't be able to see the rust. This guy's not rusty. He's back on track. He had a good weekend in the book. We've got our own Against the Odds with Vegas Frank from sunny Las Vegas, Nevada. What's up, man?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing great. I can't complain. I mean, the weather has turned. It's nice and cool. I had a jacket on this morning.
Well, that's unique. I'm another like 6 weeks away from jacket weather, but it's cooled down a little bit. It's like 88.
Yeah, nice and cool there. Nice and cool there. Frank, man, I'll tell you. Let's start with the National Football League. A lot going on. We got two undefeateds left. I mean, go over this weekend. Give us a good breakdown.
I mean, well, we're looking at the Cowboys over the weekend against the Packers. I'm sorry to bring this up so quickly, but the Cowboys and the Packers this weekend, you got to see two teams that we're looking at. Possibly being two teams that could be matching up for the NFC Championship. As what we thought we were getting an NFC Championship preview, but right now the identity of the Cowboys is controlling the line of scrimmage, and they're not doing that. It's something that they're playing to that strength. So frequently the past few seasons, they're not running the ball. Zeke is averaging less than 4 yards a carry. And the run defense. So we're talking about both lines of scrimmage, offensively and defensively. They're allowing too many running yards. I mean, Aaron Jones, the only running back in the history of the NFL to run for 4 touchdowns against a Cowboys defense, happens on Sunday. The guy had barely 100 yards rushing, but 4 touchdowns. It's ridiculous. They've got to get back to playing Cowboys defense there. Stop the run. They've got to establish Zeke, and they've got to establish him early. It seems like a lot of times, and you and I have had this conversation before, it seems like a lot of times in the middle of the game where you switch up play calling or you switch up different schemes for how the offense is supposed to execute. Jason Garrett doesn't do that. He gets stuck a lot just kind of watching. It seems like he's observing it, and then he's too slow to react, and that's where he gets caught behind in the second and third down scenarios when they're on offense. They just seem out of sync. And if he's going to trust Kellen Moore to call the plays, then that's fine. But they've got to be a little bit more aggressive on first and second down, and then it's going to help them in second and third.
What's some of the biggest takeaways of NFL Sunday?
Well, I mean, Baker Mayfield last night.
Yikes.
We're waiting to see if is this the Baker Mayfield that we thought we were getting all along? Now his 18th start as of last night. His 18th starts in the NFL for his career. 22 interceptions. He's had 22 interceptions, more turnovers, but at least 22 interceptions through the air. that does not make for a good start to your career. He's got to be more patient, got to look off more than just the one side. He's forming some bad habits and locking onto receivers. We thought we were going to get this superstar type Madden numbers with, Jarvis Landry and OBJ, the weapons that he had around him with Baker, and Baker's not really holding up his end. He's looking lost. Ultimately benched last night. I don't know what the answer is because we've seen flashes of Baker being very productive, but right now he seems lost.
I think some of it falls on Kitchen's plate.
No, you're right. I go back to, Greg Williams was going to be the coach. I mean, maybe they could have just kept Greg Williams as the coach and kept Kitchens as the coordinator. I mean, I don't know if they were just never going to give him the job. I mean, think about it. They have Hugh Jackson and Todd Haley. They fire Hugh Jackson. Todd Haley thinks he's going to get the coaching job. You remember back to Hard Knocks last year that Todd Haley and Williams seemed to be going at odds. You're saying, well, one of these guys isn't going to be here. They end up firing Haley almost immediately after they fire Hugh Jackson, and Greg Williams doesn't survive either. So, I mean, they had three guys there that had, head coaching experience or could have had head coaching experience with a young quarterback, up-and-coming quarterback. None of them are there, and the coordinator who doesn't have coaching experience is the guy who's named the head coach. So I don't know.
Unbelievable, man. I tell you, I think the Niners are kind of for real, though, don't you?
Niners are for real. Again, we have to look at this a little bit with a grain of salt because we're not sure about the schedule. They're going to be tested going forward, obviously, because they're in the division with the Rams and the Seahawks. So, I mean, they're going to be evaluated quickly in the next 5-6 weeks. But for right now, they look for real. They've got to protect Jimmy Garoppolo, commit to running the ball. The offense they look like studs offensively and defensively. Last night, they looked ridiculous. Just kind of, that game could have been a lot worse.
Unbelievable, man. I tell you, it actually could have been a lot worse, Frank. Well, let's move on to some college sports, man. Let's talk some college football. Getting excited about WKU Hilltopper basketball. Hysteria coming up real soon. That's going to be a lot of fun. Bassey, big story. I think I saw the other day where he's looking like he might go in the top 10 in the draft. That's pretty sweet to have that season with him this year coming up. I can't wait to see what he does in Conference USA play. I'm sure he'll lead everything, but looking forward to that. But let's talk football. We got U.S. Army game night, I'm used to saying. We've got the Army coming in, Black Knights. I think they're 3-2, Frank. They got a triple option. They like to run a decent defense. They've played some good teams this year already a couple times, and I'm looking forward to it. I think the line, though, I was kind of confused on it when I saw it. I guess because we're at home and we're 3-0 in the conference makes the difference. But what are you seeing out there in Las Vegas? I want to see if you're getting the same line I'm getting here.
Currently, we've got a total of 42, over under 42. Army is favored by 4.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's I like the Tops to win this one, but I'm thinking like a 21-20 kind of thing, man, or even a field goal late, a tie game, late field goal. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, this is going to be, this is two contradictions, two contrasting styles, not contradictions, two contrasting styles. That triple option is going to have, some long drives going for Army. This is a team of just a few weeks ago pushing Michigan right up to the end, go to overtime with Michigan. They're a team that can definitely match you for the pace and the style that you're playing at. So they're going to be a team that's going to be able to establish a run. I think Western's just got to stick with it and, be able to be patient with this process going up and down the field because, you can try to test those corners with Army, and I think that, the more we go along with this season, the Tops are getting more and more comfortable as we go. Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting game. I think it'll be close.
Unbelievable, man! I can't wait. I'll be in attendance. We've got, of course, I've got a business connection with Army. They do a lot of stuff with me here out of the studio and on 102.7. So it's kind of cool for me to get to see both those worlds collide again. It's been a few years, I think maybe 3-4 years since Army played, and that was really cool. But like watching these teams come in, like the Army at LT Smith. It's just exciting, and it usually packs the house. I'm looking forward to a huge crowd and everybody come out and support the Hilltoppers. 3-0 in the conference. Not a conference game, obviously, but we still like to get W's, Frank. W's, baby.
No, you're absolutely right, and it's like you said, it's the meeting of your two different worlds.
Yes,
they're in town, so it's going to be fun. Should be a good game. We're excited to see it.
Man, a lot of stuff going on in the sporting world, if you will. We could go lots of directions, a lot of baseball, but we spent a lot of time with Danny the Limb talking baseball, so we may touch on that for a minute, but not a lot. I want to stick with some of this college football. What'd you see this weekend, man?
Well, I mean, Auburn with their young quarterback Bo Nix against Florida. I mean,
his dad beat Florida one time.
His dad did beat Florida while he was quarterback at Auburn. You're right, back in the day. That's a really cool thing too. Is that you grew up as a fan. I mean, and for Trask, the quarterback at Florida, he grew up a Florida fan. To be able to play there, a guy who didn't start in high school. He was a backup quarterback to De'Ara King, the quarterback at Houston. He was the backup quarterback to him, so he didn't even play in high school. And I think he played sparingly, maybe his senior year. But to be in that position to play, you watch so many of these teams. Ellinger too at Texas. These guys grew up as fans of these particular universities. Be able to play for those schools that's got to be really special. But I mean, Nix is going to have his moments. It's just that he's a freshman. He's learning. They're going to be playing LSU in like a couple more weeks. That's going to be even more of a challenge, I think, for him, just the way the defensive schemes hit. I mean, they're a little bit more aggressive than Florida. You could imagine that. And the offense right now with Burrow is just clicking. LSU could be, a sleeping tiger right now, no pun intended. So that's going to be fun to watch. But I mean, we've got so many stories right now early on that are still sort of forming. Is Oklahoma for real? Is Ohio State for real? Ohio State hasn't really been challenged as strong as they look. Fields and those guys, they look great, right now, but they really haven't played anyone. We tried to hype up the Michigan State or the Nebraskas of the world, but those teams really aren't ready. They haven't been ready yet. They've both been on a national stage the last couple of weeks, been able to watch them. And Ohio State just looks a little bit faster in every facet. So they're not really going to be challenged until later in the year. I think they're going to play back-to-back games Ohio State plays back-to-back games against Iowa and Michigan, or maybe it's Penn State and Michigan, I think, in consecutive weeks. So we really don't see them get tested until then. But Ohio State might be in a situation where they're not going to get tested at all until they get to the playoffs. And unfortunately for them, I think that's going to be the problem because the Alabamas, the Georgias and the Clintons in this world have a lot more skill set players, a lot more athletic players than the Buckeyes.
Yeah, good point right there, Frank. Moving along, man, I tell you, that's a good update. How did you do this weekend in your investing? I know you did pretty good.
We did okay. Not great. We're like, let's say 6 out of 10.
That's okay. 60%, baby. That's a solid number.
Yeah, we did okay. We had some second guessing, I think, going on.
That happens.
But it went okay.
I took Breida out of my 1 times 1.5 last night at the last second, and then first play of the game he ran an 80-yarder for a touchdown. So
yeah, I saw that.
I'm not going to be doing that anymore. I'm going to stick with it. That's a good betting tip today. You got your gut feeling, the numbers where you like it. Don't second guess yourself. Go for it.
Trust the process.
Oh, you're listening to Vegas Frank Against the Odds, brought to you by JBK Network Consulting, IP Everything. Jim Grant, get a hold of him over there. Got a nice little office. Go by and see him. He's got some awesome stuff in there. Big Hilltopper fan. We love having Jim Grant on our show and sponsoring it. And been here for a while, Frank, and it's always fun. I love it when he gives me a little insight. He's got some good Tops insight. So some of that, I could call him a source almost,
He's your insider.
He's my insider, man. He's my Tops insider. Hey, listen, a lot of fun here. Vegas Frank, got a couple minutes left. What's going on in the world of Ultimate Fighting Champion?
Well, Adesanya over the weekend was able to unify the belt by beating Whitaker second round at TKO. And it seems like John Jones has been sort of, kind of prodding him a little bit wants to have some type of fight. He wants Adesanya to move up. But Adesanya is in the position right now where he's just unified the title. He's got to defend once or twice. He's probably going to fight Gastelum again, but he might be fighting after that. He might be moving up to fight John Jones eventually, but he's got to get some middleweight title defenses under his belt. You don't want to unify the belt and then move up in weight class. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to him. But that would be, stylistically, that would be a great fight between him and John Jones. I would love to see that fight. And it might be here in town. If that happens, I might have to go live.
I'm flying out. I'm flying out. We're just going to do a live remote from outside the show. I mean, how fun would that be? Set up right out front of it and interview people. We would have to do it on a podcast, so I'd say be some foul language out there. Hey, Frank, I got this before you go. I want to get your outlook on this. Move over, UFC. Here comes bare knuckle fighting. Have you seen this?
I have not.
Well, we'll talk about it next Tuesday on Vegas Frank. Everybody listening, go out there, check it out. I want to know how you feel about it. I mean, it's barbaric. It's kind of, not mainstream, and I'm wondering how the public will accept it, Frank. And I like it. I mean, back in the day, I think they fought bare knuckle, didn't they? Like in the early, late 1800s when boxing started up, isn't that they kind of did that for a little while, didn't they? I mean, they didn't put glass shavings in there like Bloodsport or anything, but I mean.
Okay, USA. No, it wasn't like Bloodsport, but they had something like that. Yeah. I think the UFC might have adopted something like that early on. They had some barbaric. If you watch the UFC the first couple of years, I mean, it was brutal.
Man, Big Tank Johnson
brutal.
And those guys, and oh my Lord, it was brutal. But this thing, and it's funny you say that because there's some UFC fighters that are participating in this. Once Silva, I know, is fighting in it,
of course.
And who knows who we'll see follow, but I don't know, man. Check it out, bare knuckle fighting, Frank. I want to get your input next Tuesday, man. I appreciate you, dude. You got a final thought you want to leave? We got a minute left.
No, I'm just excited to see what happens this week with the NFL. I want to see if we're in for a free fall with Cleveland, or if they're going to kind of right the ship. They're going to play Seattle. They're hosting Seattle after the bye week. They play New England. So this is right now kind of where they've got to. We've got to see if right now, they're gonna rise and they're gonna be an actual contender, or if they're just the Browns.
They're free falling. I'll go ahead and answer for you, man. It's over. I mean, I was so high on them winning 7 games. Not gonna happen, Frank.
I don't think so either.
Oh, man, we'll look forward to it. Check out that bare knuckle fighting.
I'm gonna look at it.
Don't go anywhere. Be right back on the Sports Web, ESPN 102.7, 104 The Score.
It's time for the Culver's High School Football Player of the Week. Visit Culver's at 4903 Scottsville Road for some delicious burgers.
Culver's High School Football Player of the Week takes us up the road off the Parkway there, Glasgow Scotty Dogs. And I got a good one on the Line X hotline right here. I'm glad I'm finally getting to talk to him. I've been covering him all year. Said his name quite a few times. You've heard it. But we've got number 27, Hunter Scott. Played 7 games this year. He's caught 22 for 524 yards, 12 touchdown receptions. He's averaging about 75 yards a game. Hunter, welcome in to the Sports Web, man.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey, we're doing good, buddy. First of all, man, I mean, you're just a sophomore. That blows my mind that Coach Garman's going to have a guy like you there, release button for the next couple years. How long you been playing football, Hunter?
I've been playing since 2nd grade.
And I bet you were pretty good back then, too. First of all, let's talk about this team, man. High-powered offense, got a decent defense. He lost some guys up front from last year, but it seems like Coach and the offense has adjusted to that well. You got a guy like Nick Mitchell in the backfield. That's always a good thing. But, you got Canarius and a few other receivers out there. You got Abernathy just does a good job distributing. That's my outside looking in. Describe your offense to our listeners, Hunter. I mean, how would you categorize them?
Well, our offense is, we're just spaced out. We have weapons everywhere in the run game, pass game. We've just got a bunch of options we can go to.
Man, you really, really do. And what a great season thus far. I mean, take away that gut-wrenching South Warren loss. I know you guys played your hearts out that night and had that one pretty wrapped up, but I mean, it's just one of those things. Two great teams. You guys are facing a really good 5A team ranked high in the state, and you guys are ranked high as well in your 3A. But let's forget about that game. I mean, what a great showing against Allen County. You guys dropped a 50 burger. I mean, you've had LaRue. You guys put it on them. I mean, Monroe County. I mean, there's just some great games that you all have played, and you got Taylor, Casey, and Franklin Simpson to close it out. I see you guys making a deep run this year in Class 3A, and good luck to you on that. But what's your favorite thing about? Is it practicing? Is it thinking about it? Is it game day? I mean, what's the most excited you get about football, Hunter?
Well, most exciting, it has to be game day, but it's just the work we put into it all through the week. Just we got to work hard every day. If we take light at practice, we're not going to perform as well on game day.
That's absolutely true. Let me ask you this. I mean, all the great receivers from Jerry Rice to, whoever, Edelman, whoever you want to talk about, they do a lot of work outside outside the practice facility, away from the organization. Do you find yourself at home having, somebody throw you the ball some when you're not in seat? Do you work on your hands throughout the year, not just football season?
Well, I play like a bunch of different sports, so I'm always doing something.
Yeah.
So I'm always working out, doing stuff at home, just always doing something just to be better.
I mean, there's a lot of homes out there for guys like you, Hunter, and the position you play. This could result in a nice offer down the road. This could result in, extending your football career. Is that something you got in mind? Are you wanting that?
Yes, sir.
Have you always played receiver? Did you ever play a little bit of running back or some defense?
No, I've always played running back and defense. This is my first year, being a receiver.
Wow. Dude, that is amazing. I would have never guessed that. That's incredible, Hunter. I mean, so I guess you were probably a pretty good running back. The speed that you have. I mean, do you like that position as well?
Yeah, I like running back. I also like receiver though. I don't know, it's just something different about it. Being in open space, getting to the ball in open space, and just being able to work out in the open.
Man, that's a great point. Well received. I get it. I mean, that makes sense. I got to play a little second string fullback, and I always thought, how cool would it be to go out and run some routes, and turn on a dime and that ball, Abernathy having it right there for you. But you guys are such a fun offense to watch, and that's kind of what gravitated me towards you with a big game the other night, 4 touchdowns. I mean, that's got to be – what's that like to get 4 TDs, man, one game?
Man, it's a great feeling, I mean, just don't know how to describe it. Just wanted to do it for the team.
Well, you did a good job, man, and it seems like you're open a lot for Abernathy, and when he's able to check it and see you, I mean, he's going to get it to you. But before we go, talk to me a little bit about Nick Mitchell and Abernathy. I mean, playing with those guys. I mean, what's that like?
It's just great because, if our passing game's not good, we can just hand it to Nick, and, Nick's going to go to work. He's just going to get yards. It's just
he chews them up like a Scotty dog, don't he?
Yeah, I just don't know how to describe it. He just puts his nose down and goes.
I love watching. He floats, man. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, he's just so smooth. You can't really tell how fast he's going, but he's moving. And it's just, I don't know, it's a thing of art to watch him. But it's also a thing of art to watch you, weave through that secondary and make those snags and get upfield yards after the catch, Hunter. Before we go, man, real quick, what would be your walkout music if you were coming out of the tunnel and playing for the Patriots? What's going to be Hunter Scott's walkout music?
I don't really know, to be honest. Never thought about that.
Yeah, that's the one you got to think about a little bit because there's a lot involved, intertwined with that. I could see some thunderstruck AC/DC. That's what I see when I see Hunter Scott out there running routes pregame. But I appreciate it. Way to go on the Culvers. I got an awesome plaque from Oak Tree Awards that I'll get to you in the next week or two when you guys get back from fall break. I appreciate you doing the Sports Web, and congratulations on the award, man.
Okay, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. There he is, Hunter Scott. Check him out. Watch those Glasgow Scotty Dogs. They are high-powered fun. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the Sports Web, ESPN 102.7, 104 The Score.
You're playing golf and you're going to like it.
Time to go home there, ball.
I can make it across.
Well, then do it.
We got all of that.
Why didn't you just go home? That's your home. Are you too good for your home? Answer me.
Knock it on. Let her rip.
It's in the hole. By the way, what did Mr. Webb shoot this morning?
It's time for Gary on the Green. Gary on the Green is brought to you by Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill on Old Louisville Road and online at bowlinggreenfireplace.com. Call 270-495-1131.
Gary on the Green, live on location out at the KHS AA Leachman Buick GMC tournament, and I'm sure you're eyeing some young talent out there, Coach. Thanks for being on the Line-X Hotline, buddy. Gary on the Green.
No worries. Yeah, a little chilly this morning, but it's always good to watch some future tops and try to scout some of the more of the local talent here. So it's a beautiful day, and the golf course is in great shape. Should be a good tournament.
Yeah, the golf course is in great shape. Usually is out there at Bowling Green. They do a good job. How big's the field? Do you know that?
Yeah, they've got 12 teams, and then each region had seven individuals that made it out. So they kind of changed the setup a little bit this year for how they're doing things. So there's a bit fewer. I think there's a total of 12 fewer people than normal, but they're trying to maybe strengthen the field just a bit to get more of the individual low scores from each region in. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out this year.
Yeah, it will be. What are some? I know the young lady at South Warren. Big stir about her. Has she teed off?
Yes, she is on hole number 7 right now, actually. So a little bit of a slow start, but I think the local team, South Warren, is still doing all right. Should be an interesting couple days for them for sure.
What are some of the other individuals that are playing in this state championship that you might know?
Yeah, so the defending champ was Lainey Fry from LCA up around Lexington area. She's a UK commit, so she's going to be defending her title today. And local teams, South Warren obviously made it. They only take one team per region, so it was just them. But I think it's going to be your typical usual suspects with Sacred Heart, LCA, and maybe South Warren kind of sneaking in there on the outside, but it should be a good test of golf this week.
What about the Lady Tops? What's coming up for your team, Coach?
Yeah, so we're off this week. We have fall break this weekend, and everybody's going to be in town for the Army football game coming up on Saturday, and we go to the University of Louisville's tournament next week. So we just finished our qualifying, have the lineup set. It's pretty much going to be the same lineup as we had at UK's tournament, so just kind of a relaxing weekend this weekend to get ready for our final push for the last 2 tournaments.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, Coach. You know, that's one of the old adage there. I think that lineup would be just fine, as well as they did at Lexington up there. That was a great showing for your Lady Tops, and you mentioned the Army game. That's going to be a good one. We're actually 4-point favorites, Coach.
I know that makes me a little nervous. They're a pretty good team that kind of probably should have beat Michigan. So I think it's always nice to be home, to be the home team, but, man, it's going to be a close one, so I hope we pull this one out.
Well, when you got a guy like D'Angelo over there sacking the quarterback, I feel like he's going to get in the backfield there and do some damage and mix that triple option up a little bit, make it harder to run that spread offense like that. So, I mean, I think we get on them early, we're in good shape. We don't want to get behind early, though.
No, definitely not. I agree. I think it just kind of avoid the turnovers and the mistakes, and hopefully we can slow them down just a little bit.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about, for the more advanced player, when you're playing like a state tournament like these young ladies are and the boys will be doing soon, what when it comes to like actual targeting green, and you do have the weather conditions that play a factor, is there certain holes that you will attack the pin and some holes that you will just try to hit middle green or wherever the undulation is? I mean, how do you pick, if you're a good enough target golfer and your iron play is that good, when do you go for the pin, when do you not?
Right. I think it depends on how far you're out. The course management system that we use with the golf team kind of rates it. So it's about a 5-yard at 100 yards. So that basically tells you how far to go off of the edge of the fringe. So if you're 100 yards out and the pin is 4 on, you should be aiming a yard right of the pin. So, but it changes as you get back out. So if you got a 200-yard shot, it's going to be more like 12. So if the pin is 6 on, you're going to be aiming 6 yards right of the pin. So it kind of is more of just a margin of error thing. I don't think it's quite as easy as just aim at the middle of the green, because sometimes that can that can leave yourself a long putt and a potential 3-putt. So we kind of tend to stick with that system that's involved with decade golf. Really good stuff, I think, from them. So it's kind of a whole yardage book and green and the whole deal with it too. So, but I think just for the average golfer, if you're going out as a general rule, just kind of depending on how far out you are, and obviously you have to kind of pay attention to what the wind's doing and things like that. But if you'll keep that in mind, I think you'll be picking good targets.
Oh, my goodness. Great tip, as always. Coach, I'll let you get back to your observing at the state tournament out there, and good luck to all the gals in the field.
Perfect. Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for listening to the Sports Web, ESPN 102.7.